Today we have an exciting topic to cover, BP Open Enrollment, and not just general BP Open Enrollment, but a very specific topic, disability insurance through BP. Usually you probably just let open enrollment pass you by without giving it a second thought, but my goal today is to help you understand just how important some of these elections are and how important they can be to you and your family if something catastrophic were to occur. When is open enrollment? Open enrollment for BP is from February 1st through February 20th, which is great because that means you've got time to digest this. You also have time to watch our full-blown webinar, which will be coming out later this year. And then you can either have a professional like ourselves analyze your situation, or you can take the time to do your own analysis to see if any of this is right for you and you want to change your elections come open enrollment period. So the big idea we're talking about today, disability coverage. What is it? Who is it for? First, BP provides some disability coverage for its employees, which is fantastic. However, they also provide options where you can elect some supplemental coverage to go over and above what BP covers for you. When a lot of people think about electing additional insurance, it's life insurance that comes to their mind, which is also really important. However, if you're still here and you're disabled or you're hurt and you can't work, life insurance isn't going to cover you. That's where disability insurance comes in. And so disability insurance will cover lost wages, maybe your increased medical bills if you have some, and this could help you and your family avoid having to make drastic living changes as a result of an injury. So I'm going to introduce you to two BP couples here. As you can tell, these couples are very excited to be readying themselves for open enrollment. They have current elections already, but these elections might not be in their best interest, so let's dig in and see if they could make some changes. When we look at Bob and Anna here, we see a couple things. No disability coverage, or at least in addition to what BP covers, and they're not financially independent, which means they're not ready to retire. To me, these are sending some yellow flags. And it says, okay, well, would there be a problem if Bob were to be hurt and couldn't work anymore? On the other hand, we have Trisha and Ryan. Trisha has elected the additional supplemental coverage and they're financially independent. Instead of yellow flags, this is sending me green flags. But could this be too much green? Meaning, do they have too much coverage? Let's take a look. Before we dive into each couple situation, let's go over what BP offers. We talked about what disability insurance is, but what are the two different types? We have short-term and long-term. Short-term disability insurance is fully covered by BP, which is exciting. If you've got a short-lived injury for 6 months or less, this is perfect. Now, BP covers between 50 and 100% of your salary, depending on how long you've worked there. And most people during this 6-month time period can self-insure any difference under 100% full pay because it's a really short period of time. However, the real potential issue could come into play when we switch over to long-term disability if your injury lasts for longer than 6 months. So we're here, long-term disability. This is where we have some options. BP covers 50% of your pay while you're injured for the long term. This could last for years and years. It could last for the remainder of your career, depending on your injury severity and whether or not you can work. So if we think about this, could you and your family survive on only 50% of your salary for the rest of your career if you were injured? Maybe, maybe not. If you think you'll have to drastically cut expenses, your spouse will have to find a new line of work, or even take on a second job, then you may need to take a closer look as to whether or not it might be beneficial to elect and pay for additional coverage over and above what BP offers for long term. Now, what they offer is between 10 to 15% extra coverage. That might not sound like a lot, but the way I like to think about it is if your boss gives you a 15% raise, sounds pretty great. Means you can buy some extra things and supplement expenses. This is a chart from the BP benefit book. Kind of goes through, okay, what is the cost for the additional insurance? And it's a factor of your monthly pay and your age. We'll go into this in a lot more detail during the full webinar, but wanted to let you know that this can be found in your benefit book. Okay, let's go back to our couples. Let's dive into their situations. The couple waving the yellow flags, Bob and Anna, they might need supplemental insurance that they don't have. If we look at the first 6 months, that short-term disability time period, Bob has been with the company for 15 plus years. So he almost gets 100% pay, not quite. And if he's only hurt for 6 months, he'll probably be fine financially. But what if this lasts longer? what if he needs to be on BP long-term disability? If we take a look here, 50% of his pay is a huge pay cut, a drastic shift down for them in income. And since we mentioned they're not financially independent, this could devastate their family and their savings. Unless they make big shifts in their lifestyle, Anna will either have to find another job, go back to work, or they'll have to make drastic cuts in expenses. Okay, well, what if during February they decide, okay, we need this extra coverage, we're not financially independent. This could be a big problem if Bob were to get hurt. How much could that help them? If Bob elects the additional 15% coverage, doesn't fully fix their problem, but as you can see in that first year, it helps them by almost $20,000 extra dollars. It's not huge, but it's also nothing to sneeze at and something they could consider come February. Now let's go to the second couple, the green flag couple. And what we know about them is they're financially independent and they have the supplemental coverage. Financially independent means that they could retire today if they wanted to, which means that if someone got hurt, they could self-insure for not having additional income because they're really only working because they enjoy it. What they can do with this is remove the additional coverage come February, and that actually saves them an expense flow going forward so that they can save even more. So what does this mean for you? This means that you need to start right now thinking about your own situation. Either talk to a financial professional like ourselves to analyze your situation, or take the time to do your own analysis. This could be really important for you and your family to make sure you're well taken care of. During open enrollment period, which is, as I mentioned, February 1st through February 20th, you'll need to start making elections in regards to medical plans, HSAs, FSAs, life insurance, as well as disability insurance. We'll go over all of these topics in great detail during our open enrollment webinar, which will be coming out shortly. If you have any questions or would like to talk with us, please follow us on YouTube and click the link in the description below.